RFK coming in, Health and Human Services, reinventing our food system, our medical system, our healthcare system. I mean, first of all, our food system is killing us. Let me just put that on the record. I think we are being destroyed. We're being manipulated. The fact that kids' cereals don't have black box warnings on them for the amount of sugars in there is pathetic. And just cheap, salty, sugary foods for the poorest, it's sinful for us to have that as our baseline. And we need a reinvention of the entire healthcare system. So how do you think RFK is going to serve and fare in this? That's the first question. The second question I want to put out there is deregulation. I'm in the health and biotech industry. I invest in a lot of biotech companies. I've started a number of biotech companies, and it has been just destroyed by regulation. The FDA's thesis is we're not happy till you're not happy, right? Doing anything new and novel is effectively illegal or super hard because you're penalized for something you approve that kills one person, and you're not penalized for something you don't approve that is killing hundreds of people in that disease category. So let's talk about RFK and deregulation. Who wants to go first?
So I respect Bobby. Full disclosure, like you, he helped me on the Bitcoin book. I've helped Bobby politically. And again, we can talk about the vaccine situation with Bobby. Some of the things he's saying make sense. Perhaps people in the medical community would challenge some of the things he's saying. So I'm going to leave that to the medical community. I speak as a dad. I believe everything that you just said, and I've experienced it, Peter. If I go to Greece and I eat food, I lose weight. If I go to Italy and I eat food or drink coffee, I lose weight. If I eat food here, the same food, I gain weight because there's so many preservatives and there's so much nonsensical stuff in this stuff, okay? And we did something to the country, which is why I want to be Secretary of the Constitution. Citizens United has corrupted the country because if I'm big food or big pharma, let me light up everybody in the Congress. And then let me tell everybody in the Congress that I need to put fertilizer and additives and preservatives in the food so I can cheapen up the manufacturing of the food. Yes, cheapen up the price to your point, but it stays on the shelf for 15 years and it makes everybody fat. Now, you know, because you're a scientist and a doctor, if we went back to our obesity levels in 1991, we'd save you want to talk about $2 trillion? We would save $2 trillion in healthcare expenses if we just went back to the portion sizes and we just cleaned up the food.
So, by the way, I think that is the biggest savings we can have is in our healthcare costs. Right. But,
of course. So Bobby talking about this, and if Bobby can implement this, I want a bronze statue to Bobby in front of the FDA. Okay. And Bobby, whatever you think of Bobby's been on this for 3 decades, fellas. Yeah. Okay.
I think he's amazing.
And he's right about this. So you tell me, I want Bobby to get that job. I know there's some establishment people that don't want him to get that job, but if Bobby's in that job, but you know what I told you about the grind in Washington, right? They'll find something on him. They're going to grind that guy. You know, we need 20 people going into that department with Bobby that think like Bobby. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because
I do.
Unfortunately, because I have a 11-day PhD in Washington scumbaggery. Okay, 11 day, I got an honorary doctorate. And what I'm telling you is that he can't do it alone. He needs a legion of Bobbies to help him.
So I agree with everything you said. I think Citizens United has been a real nightmare for the country.
Terrible.
I think the issue...
need a constitutional amendment to reform that.
Yeah, that's a huge problem. And the problem I think we have is that it doesn't matter whether it's Bobby Kennedy or somebody else. Yes, he's got an unbelievable track record of environmental fighting, corporate interests, etc. And God help us, we need 10x more of that. But how much can he do to undo the regulatory capture in both healthcare and in food? And that we need that. And it may need to happen at a level above. And the best thing we could do is just educate the population that this is really what you're doing today is really bad, and let the market drive changes.
So you and I agree. What I would say to Bobby, you got to go district to district. There's 435 of them. And you got to do podcasts, local radio, and you got to do local media. And you got to get to Peter and Salim's family in every district and say, please call your congressman. Please call your congresswoman.
Yeah.
Knock off the relationship with big food. Michelle Obama.
And by the way, if Bobby is listening, please come on Moonshots. I would love to have, because what you're planning to do is an incredible moonshot.
Oh, he's the man. I mean, and I totally respect him. But I'm just saying to you, Michelle Obama tried this in 2009. And in 2010, they crucified her.
Right.
They started calling her Michael Obama. They put all kinds of conspiracy theories out on the internet. That was big food and big sugar that went after Michelle Obama. There's a great documentary about this a couple of years ago. I can send you the link, but they crucified her, and he wanted to win re-election, so they backed off the food safety standards in the country. But that's why she had a garden in the White House. She was growing her own stuff to feed her children. We shouldn't be doing that in this country. It's too rich and too successful of a country. Just use the European playbook on this stuff.
Yeah. Let's talk about deregulation a little bit, because, right now, if I want access to stem cells and various regenerative medicine treatments, I'm flying down to Costa Rica or Mexico or other parts outside the United States to get access to that, which I think is kind of insane. Now, is there more research needed? Sure. But at the end of the day, we have enough data to say there's a reasonable level of safety. And if I'm an intelligent adult, I should have the ability to access these regenerative medical treatments instead of having to leave the country. I also saw, as we all have, the biotech stocks just going down a whirlpool down the drain over the last few years with short sellers. So I'm hoping and believing that we're going to see deregulation really ignite a new health dividend for biotech. How do you feel about that, Anthony?
Oh, yeah. Listen, I mean, a couple things I would say to you that, once again, big pharma, because big pharma is putting pressure on the FDA. MDMA, which Bobby is a proponent of, and I believe, Peter, you've helped my son with his MDMA projects.
Yeah. For people who don't know, MDMA is a psychoactive drug. It's been used over and over again with people who have severe trauma. To overcome that trauma, to do it in a beautiful and graceful way. So anyway, please go back to what you were saying.
No, I'm just saying that, hello, FDA, how are you? Yeah, this is Pfizer. Do you guys want a job here at Pfizer in 2 years? Oh, yes, we do. Okay, stop MDMA. Hello, this is Pfizer. We don't own everything related to stem cells yet, and so we don't want those approved in the United States. You got to go to Costa Rica or Panama. Okay, no problem. And so, semaglutide, which is a peptide, okay, that's always been available. Once they licensed it and once they made it a drug, let's use it. But these other peptides, like the 157 peptide or others, sorry, can't use it because it's too universal. So this is where Bobby's going with all this. And so, yeah, I think it's unfair, and I think it's wrong, and I think it's hurting the country. And we weren't like that, Peter. Yeah. When Jonas Salk came up with the vaccine, he open sourced it. They didn't make any money off it. We weren't like that. Okay. And we have to go back to that sort of standard in the country. And so that's why, look, whatever you think of Donald Trump, Bobby Kennedy is not going to be the Secretary of Health and Human Services without Donald Trump. So I spent a few moments shitting on him and some of his rhetoric, but as a disruptor, I give him credit in that area. I want to be fair and objective. I want Bobby to succeed. And if Bobby's proven wrong about a vaccine or this, that, or the other thing, or Marisol, whatever he's talking about, okay, let's prove that wrong. But let's get the data together.
Yes,
you see
get
what I'm
the data.
saying?
Yeah, 100%.